Assalamu alaikum everyone, I hope you're keeping well. Welcome to the North Watford Kabrestan Majlis. We'll begin the program with Surah Yasin by Brother Murtaza Mamdani. Please welcome him with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغن عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد الفاتحة
Ahsant Murtza for the beautiful recitation. We will now have Marthia by Brother Abbas Chagani. Please welcome him with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
برای تأجیل ظهور امام زمان باز بلند صلوات اللهم صل على محمد و آل محمد. एक बार मुझे गोद में ले लो बाबा एक बार मुझे गोद में ले लो बाबा वाह हुसैना का हुआ शोर हरम में बरपा हो के रुखसत जो चले घर से शहे कर बो बला कह के ये दौड़ी सकीना के ٹھہر جاؤ ذرا، ایک بار اور مجھے گود میں لے لو بابا، شہن بچی کا جو یہ حال پریشان دیکھا، رو کے فرمایا کہ کیا حال میری ماں ہے لکا، جھوڑ کر ننھے سے ہاتھوں کو سکینہ نے کہا، ایک بار اور مجھے گود میں لے لو بابا، اور سوچتی ہوں کہ تماچے کوئی مارے نہ میرے، گوشوارے کوئی کانوں سے اتارے نہ میرے، وہم آتے ہیں میرے دل میں نہ جانے کیا کیا، ایک بار اور مجھے گود میں لے لو بابا، اور بابا سینے سے سکینہ کو لگاتے جاؤ، اب کہاں ہوگی ملاقات بتاتے جاؤ، تم کو اکبر کی قسم گنچا دہن کا صدقہ، ایک بار اور مجھے گود میں لے لو بابا، اور اب میں پیاسی ہوں نہ پانی کی ضرورت ہے مجھے، کوئی حاجت نہیں بس اتنی سی حسرت ہے مجھے، دیکھ لوں پھر سے جی بھر کے تمہارا چہرہ، ایک بار اور مجھے گود میں لے لو بابا، ایک بار اور مجھے گود میں لے لو بابا، پر محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔
Ahsant. We'll now have a lecture by Muallim Taha Uncle Darcy. Please welcome him with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا بالقاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين وأصحابهم المنتجبين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم وغاصبي حقوقهم من أول ظلمهم إلى يوم القيامة أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في قرآن الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسولنا الكريم وصدق مولانا أمير المؤمنين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. I seek Allah's protection from Shaitan, who is the cursed one, and I start in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the most kind and most merciful. Indeed, all praise is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the master, owner, and ruler of all the worlds. All praise is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has guided us to this right path of Islam, and had He not shown us of this true way, we would have been of those who are lost. Our choicest greetings to our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, and his pure progeny and their special companions. And may Allah's curses rain on their enemies from the day they started their injustice to the day of Qiyamah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws our attention in Surah As-Safat, which is the 37th surah, at the 102nd verse, where it narrates for us and says, فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَعَهُ السَّعْيَ, and when the child, namely Hazrat Ismail, has become old enough to share with his father's work, Hazrat Ibrahim says, قَالَ يَا بُنَيَّ إِنِّي أَرَى فِي الْمَنَامِ أَنِّي أَذْبَحُكَ فَانظُرْ مَاذَا تَرَى. I have dreamt, just paraphrasing it, oh my dear son, I've seen in my dream that I should sacrifice you. So give it some thought and give me your view. What do you think? And Hazrat Ismail responds by saying, قال, and he said, Ya abati if'al ma tu'mar. Do as you have been commanded to do. Satajiduni insha'Allah min as-sabirin. And inshallah, if God wills, you'll find me amongst those who are patient in difficulties and in adversity. I selected this ayah because we are coming up to the celebration and participation on the Eid of Al-Adha, and this verse I felt was apt for our purpose. But for tonight's or today's Majlis, I should say, we need to complete, or I need to complete, the program of putting in front of you, the best of my ability, the treatise of rights, Risalatul Hukuk, of our fourth Imam, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. It has been quite a long time. We've been working through this Risalatul Hukuk, and there are 51 different orders and commands of the rights of the different people on us. And we've examined all of them, and there are two which are left, which inshallah I will finish today. As I said, I apologize in advance when covering all the others. If I've missed some items, got them slightly wrong, misunderstood some, I'm only human and I seek your forgiveness and Allah's forgiveness and Imam's forgiveness in not being able to convey the thing conveniently and more appropriately for everybody's understanding. The 51st item on the last one on the Treaties of Rights relates to the rights of those people living under the Muslim rule and under the protection of Islam and Muslims, but they themselves are not Muslims. And I don't want to dwell on this specific item. Suffice it to say that where there are these individuals, the dhimmis living under the protection of Muslim rule, they should be protected in all aspects, is the summation of it. Item number 50, the penultimate order that we have in the treaties on the Risalatul Hukuk, the treaties of rights, or the Bill of Rights, as I like to call it. Imam lays out the requirements upon us in terms of the millah that we are in. It says it's your millah, and millah is translated as creed, i.e., people of the same faith who are gathered together in this one place, and how we should be behaving in respect to the whole community as a whole. And Imam lays out specific instructions on this. The first instruction Imam tells us is that in relation to the ummah itself, the millah, there should be safety for them. We can dilate on this for a long time as what constitutes safety for them. And safety can have various levels of discussion, whether safety is personal safety, family safety, safety of the state, safety of the nation vis-a-vis other people. And as I said, in each and one of these, there's deeper meanings which need to be addressed. And inshallah, if we have time and we have the strength, maybe in future programs, we can delve into the details of this. In terms of the people of your millah, what should be your relationship with them in terms of yourself to them and the rest of them? So there should be safety for them. They should be safe from you. They should not feel concerned when they see you or when they are with you. Imam next says there should be compassion. You should have compassion towards them. And compassion comes in different aspects. Again, it could be compassion when you see somebody and it's easy to turn around and ignore them because of where they are in terms of societal level, in terms of their poverty, or in terms of their wealth. You can have compassion for those who are wealthy as well as for those who do not have anything. And you can have compassion to those who are unwell, for example. And it is that inner feeling that we must have towards the millah, towards the people of our society who are of the same faith. The next one was quite interesting and took me quite by surprise. Imam says, kindness, you should have kindness and reflect kindness towards those who are evildoers in the millah. Now here we're talking about your own society, and what this presupposes, I take it and I posit to you, that Imam is saying that just because it is a Muslim millah and they're all of your own faith does not necessarily mean that each and every person within that society is going to be perfect. There will be people who are evildoers. But when you meet them or come across them, do not shun them, but you should be reflecting kindness towards them. It just reflects for us the level at which Imam understands us human beings as a whole and on an individual level. I was looking at Mizanul Hikmah, and it refers to hadith in Ghururul Hakam from our first Imam, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Where Imam says to us, when it comes to getting or expecting fairness in your society, do not expect fairness from three different categories of people. And he says the first category is people who are intelligent should not expect fairness from those who are ignorant or uneducated. This is a very, very profound statement because it requires great strength, inner strength, for those people who are very intelligent to deal with some people like us, where we do not understand the higher matters and issues and discourses they are referring to. The second is, do not expect fairness from those who are righteous in the society, should not expect fairness from those who are corrupt, because it is human nature and innate in it that the person who is corrupt will merely reflect his standards on the righteous, so he will never ever grant fairness or justice to those who are righteous. And finally, Imam says the third category you should not expect fairness from. The kind person, a kind man, should not expect fairness from he who is vile. And I will leave it at that, because it takes great strength when you have somebody who is kind and faced by a vile person, that he carries on, and to have the strength to carry on being kind. And this is what Imam is saying. Carry on being and reflecting kindness despite what you are seeing in front of you. And this is from our first Imam, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Coming back to our Risalatul Huquq, our fourth Imam carries on. What else should the people of the Millah, your creed, expect of you? They should expect friendliness from you, notwithstanding what they are, where they are in station of life or in the community. They should have friendliness. Next one, Imam says, you should be seeking their well-being, i.e., to ensure that they are always looked after. Again, each and every one of these qualities and requirements has deeper meanings which would take hours of discussion. Inshallah, there will be others who will take the baton and carry on and discuss this further. Next one, surprisingly, Imam says that when you come across people who are good doers within your millah, then you should thank them for the good actions they are doing. And you should ensure that you keep harm away from them. So you protect them as well as thank them because of the good deeds that they are doing within the community, within the millah, as opposed to backbiting and criticizing. And there's more to be discussed on that. We hear often how we should behave, we should wish for others what we wish for ourselves. Well, Imam encapsulates this in the next condition. He says, for the people in your millah, love for them what you love for yourself. Very, very profound and very deep, because it is very, very easy. We can see it within our own families, within our own households, if you like, how we would prefer one over the other. And yet Imam is saying, if you should love for them, for the people of your millah, in the same way what you love for yourself. So if you love something specific, but when it comes to giving it to the people in the community, you go for a cheaper version or a lower grade item. It should not be like that. Likewise, you should dislike for them what you dislike for yourself. How often do we find you receive a gift you don't like, you pass it on? Wandonati, halse. And yet Imam is saying, no, you did not like that item. Don't palm it off somebody else in the millah. The people in the millah, in the same way as you did not like it, don't give it on. Yes, maybe you can offer it and say, I didn't like it personally, but if you like it, you may have it. That's a different proposition altogether, as opposed to saying just wrap it up and pass it on. Pass the parcel. The next four categories are very, very deep and very thought-provoking, as every instruction from the Imam is in these circumstances. When you look at your millah, Imam says, when you look at the people of your community, of your creed, of your belief, when you see the old people in your community, then don't forget that they represent are equivalent to your fathers. And by saying that, one harks back to the Quran and what it says of how we should be behaving towards our parents and with our parents. And as far as when you come across the youth of the society, Imam does not forget them. He says, then place them in the same level as you would place your own brothers. And it is fair to say that likewise, when you come to the youth, they also should be placed in the same place as you'd place your sisters. What you wish for your brothers and your sisters in your close familial relationship should be the way you should be reflecting in terms of the overall community for the youth. And when you come across the elderly ladies in your society, in your millah, then place them in the same position as you would place your mothers. SubhanAllah. As Allah tells us in the Quran, that when it comes to your parents, then lower on them that gentleness like the wing of mercy upon them, sheltering them, protecting them. And that is how we should be reflecting to the elderly ladies and gentlemen within our ummah, within our millah, within our community. For we are all embracing the same belief. And finally, not ignoring those who are completely young. Imam reminds us that when it comes to the young ones in society, then you must remember they are in place of your children. Not just anybody, but they are like your children. And in the same way as you would behave with your children, the way you would show your love and affection, the way you would shower them with gifts and presents and sweets, likewise, these little ones in your millah, in your community, in your creed, those who embrace the same faith, your relationship with them should be in the same manner. So this brings to a close, as I said, the Risalat al-Hukuk, and every one of the 51 orders that Imam sets out is detailed, and we can drill down further in all of them, and we will not be able to comprehend everything or understand everything. But it is a start for us, and inshallah, you will take the opportunity of reading the Risalat al-Hukuk for yourself. As I said before, in the past, it has been translated into English beautifully by Professor Chittick in the Sahifa Sajadiya, presented to us via the Muhammadi Trust, available in the Hujjat Bookshop and all other good bookshops. Please do not miss the opportunity of taking and reading it and seeing what you can gain from it. Inshallah, it will be of benefit to all of us to revise on it. And as I opened with the verse of Surah Safat, it was, as I said, because we're coming up to the Eid of Eid al-Adha, I wanted to present this ayah because it brings out quite a few things, but I will just, because of time constraints, obviously, I will just point out that when Hazrat Ibrahim comes back to Mecca and finds Hajra, Hazrat Ismail is a young boy now, and he has had the dream. And when he first has the dream, which is on the 8th of the Hajj, he is questioning it. And this is called Yawm Tarwiyah. But on the 9th of the Hajj, when Hazrat Ibrahim is now definitely certain that this is a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is known as Arafah, i.e., there's absolute clarity in his own mind that this is a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has to perform this action. And when we look at the verse just superficially, because the verse for the mystics and the Ahl al-Irfan has a different connotation altogether and takes it at a different level, which I do not wish to discuss and go into at the moment. But if we just take it in the way I simplistically understand it, we can see that here is a child who has been brought up by his mother. But look at the quality of Hazrat Ismail. How much faith does this boy have? That he has no doubts whatsoever in when his father is asking him, well, what is your opinion? He doesn't challenge it. He says, do as you are commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the word that he uses, inshallah, and indeed, if Allah wills, satajiduni inshallah minas sabirin, amongst those who are patient in adversity. And as we know, when Hazrat Ibrahim is taking Hazrat Ismail, and they are in between between Arafah, in Arafah, between the two mountains, and Shaitan comes to him, and he is trying to trick and to coerce and to convince Hazrat Ibrahim between Safa and Marwa that don't do it. He is your beautiful son. You love him. You love him dearly. This is just a dream. You shouldn't follow it. And what does Hazrat Ibrahim do? 3 times Shaitan comes to him, and 3 times Hazrat Ibrahim repulses him by throwing 7 stones at him or pebbles at him to push Shaitan away. And we, of course, when we go for Hajj, and inshallah, those who haven't, inshallah, will get a chance. And inshallah, next year we will all have the opportunity of going, that we then replay this by doing the Jamarat 3 times. This incident is very, very deep indeed. And the following verses carry on. What does Hazrat Ismail tell in the ahadith? They tell us and explain to us, as Sayyid Mir Ahmad Ali in his tafsir tells us, that Hazrat Ismail tells his father, bind my hands and my feet and put a bandage around your eyes and tighten up your cloak, and then perform this command and complete it, what Allah has commanded you, namely of my slaughtering. And at each of these points you have to ask why. And he explains, Hazrat Ismail tells his dad, because if you don't tie my hand and my feet up, I may start to struggle, and this because of the pain that I will experience, and this may upset you, I may upset you, and may be offsetting to you, off-putting to you. Tie the bandage around your eyes so that when you do the deed, you don't see it, so that you don't get an opportunity of turning away from fulfilling Allah's command. And tie your cloak up so that when the blood comes out, my clothes do not get stained. For when you come to meet my mother, Hajira, you don't want to meet her with my clothes stained with my blood. She will be upset about it. And I ask you, when the Quran talks later on about Dhabh al-Azim, when we come to Karbala, and Imam Hussein picks up Ali al-Asghar, 6-month-old baby, what is it that Imam whispers into the ears of Ali al-Asghar that calms him down? How did Imam take his son and offer him for that sacrifice? Imam did not bandage his eyes. He carried and offered him on his arms. And he said to Umar ibn Saad, give this little baby some water. Imam did not consider his clothes. How will Rubab feel when he comes back with Ali al-Asghar? For he knew he was going to be martyred. For he himself had already had the dream when he was in Medina at the grave of his grandfather, when Allah had commanded that, Ya Hussein, you are to go to Karbala. You are to be martyred in Karbala. This is the level of our Imam. I say to you, Ibrahim, you could not bear this, but look at Hussein on the desert sands of Karbala on the day of Ashura. And how did Rubab feel when Imam comes back with little Ali al-Asghar and says to his mother, take him, hold him, whilst I dig a grave, for there is no way we can leave him like this. How many mothers are there in this world who would bear this pain, and they would have sat at the grave that they have buried their little baby in? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين فسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Ya Allah, we beg you and beseech you, through the blessings of the Shuhada of Karbala, and in particular Imam Hussein and Hazrat Ali al-Asghar, to grant maghfirah to all our Marhumeen, and especially the Marhumeen who are buried in Watford Cemetery. Ya Allah, grant shifa to all our mu'mineen who are unwell, and especially those who are suffering from COVID. Protect us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, through the blessings of these shuhada, Ya Allah, fulfill the mu'mineen's wishes. Remove their debts from them. Remove their difficulties, and there are several, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, those who are studying, grant them success in their studies. Those who are in business and work, grant them success, Ya Allah. We beg you and beseech you, Ya Allah, through these difficult times, keep our iman safe. Keep our hearts close to you, Ya Allah. And our lips should have none other than Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Surah Al-Mubarakat Al-Fatiha. Bismillah.
Ahsant. Please recite Surah Fatiha for the following Marhumeen. Agha Abbas Kuli Khan Kizilbash, son of Agha Hassan Kizilbash, Marhuma Layla Banu Ballu, Marhuma Shireen Bai Sumar, Marhuma Sakina Mahmud Ahmed. Al-Fatiha. Please rise for ziyarah. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين، وعلى 9 المعصومين من ذريتك، علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والحجة بن الحسن، عجل الله فرجه وسهل الله مخرجه وظهوره، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.